the hidden fortress.
Master others, you show force. Master yourself, you show strength. Obi-Ichi.
The sweet-smelling fragrance of aloes wood was accompanied by the sound of the shakuhachi filling the air of the Oborozuki dojo, as ceremonial washing, anointing and preparation was performed by King Hiro and Lady Noriko themselves. They were assisted by Prince Sanzo and the tea house maidens with the utmost care, respect and proficiency, and the spirit of the kami were invoked within and without. Adorned in their new crimson shinobi fuku graced by a brilliant crimson and silver armor befitting only for the most elite shinobi bushi, with their red and white dandara haris worn on the outside of their armor, and their sacred silver Oborozuki forehead protectors were polished and new, Furinaku was wearing the headband of his lost love Ayanagi. The 12 disciples were served the honorable meal of a bushi, the usual brown rice, seaweed, chestnuts, and sake. Excited beyond measure, the disciples were ready to embark on what was to be their final mission that would give way for Japan's future. This event was a long time coming, and this event was so special that even Lord Asano Kusunoki himself, donned in a maroon silk kimono with a black and gold cotton hari and the finest grey cotton hakama, could not dare to miss this historical and sacred moment. A point in time that would lead to the event that would save Japan from a reign of terror and darkness, as total sacredness requires total secrecy.
After observation of the 5 constant factors of earth, water, fire, wind, and void, and seeing that they had taken everything into consideration, the Covenant of Stealth along with Kensuke and his army of Koga agents moved out into the dusk like an army of demons on Nozimi's hidden fortress. They moved silently across the water into Awaji. Now that most of Nozimi's soldiers and forts were made obsolete by the valiant efforts of those loyal to the original foundation, the fortress with its fallen watchtowers and minimal guards was more vulnerable to assault. 7 disciples of the Covenant of Stealth were allotted special Crimson Shinobi gliders designed by only the very best IGA technology: Furinaku, Tatsume, Mikado, Jeizo, Yukishi, Lady Mizuki, and Korea took dominion over the air, and like 7 red-scaled dragons they swiftly glided above the waters unseen into Awaji. While Lady Chidori and Narutaki moved over the water by use of their henshin, Lady Chidori a butterfly, and Narutaki a dragonfly. Mondo and Kongo had taken Merchant Echigoya's secret small round wooden boats in hopes to pass through the ocean unseen, blending in like ocean rocks. The 7 disciples utilizing the element of air landed successfully in a clearing within the forest near to the shore, and they camouflaged their gliders with as much leaves and twigs as possible to hide them among the trees of the forest, so they may be retrieved later on. Lady Chidori and Narutaki had reached the shore, and after scanning the area they returned to human form. Once the 4 disciples utilizing the element of water reached the shore, they had camouflaged their boats with as much sand and seaweed as possible as instructed to allow them to blend in with the ocean's rocks of the seashore. There at the beach, they were to split up and meet at the required location. A section within the forest is shown on Kensuke's secret map, to avoid the attention of any possible Jesuits or townsfolk who may be able to identify them to Nozimi agents always on the lookout for new faces to the island. The water vehicles employed by the Covenant of Stealth were the top secret design and product of Kensuke by order of Kuno Garuda and passed by Lord Kusunoki. These products would eventually be improved upon, allowing for such secret vessels to be used by the shinobi in dire circumstances. They were small, fast-moving, the color of sea rocks, unexpected, and therefore the chances of staying hidden was increased. All disciples were expected to do this individually to avoid drawing attention to one target. Under a blood moon, a cool wind bristled through the pine trees as the disciples assembled in a circle within a grove some ways from the beach of Awaji. They had their talismans and performed their spells, They had taken their Zippang gold to increase the potency of their key life force, and their eyes sparkled with a focus that was fixed like an arrow heading towards its target. Moon sparkle was smeared onto their blades that glowed like fire under the moon's red rays. Waiting for the Koga agents to set off a signal flare, the disciples gathered by a campfire where Furinaku gave his speech of illumination.
Brothers and sisters, we are happy we are in this time of the victory. A breathtaking triumph is upon us, and so together we must seize the moment and place our mark on history. Courage, our friends, we admire the courage of our friends. We admire the courage, the devotion and the understanding, the true faith and the truth of the connection. We admire the clear connection to the truth, yes, the infinite dynamic, the new Enso, the new connection, the possibility come home. We are strong, we are brave, we have no fear, we are supported and we see the truth. We are not distracted by the illusions of fear, for we understand that fear is a misconception, and the only truth is truth, and the only reality is truth, and so we are all supported because we are all one with the elements and we are all one in infinity. We are all connection, yes, all is one, yes, and so we are fearless, we are strong, we are brave, and we are ready for the victory, yes, the announcement of the victory of the light. We understand we have built this covenant and the time is now. The moment, the perpetual moment, the infinite moment, Obi-Ichi together forever, my friends, Anmari Shisawaka. Victory of the light on this blood moon night. Anmari Shisawaka. Rage against the dying of the light. Anmari Shisawaka.
After a brief gathering of hearts, the Koga agents' red flares were seen in the night sky, and the disciples knew the time was now, for all good gatherings must come to an end. Jizo was now ready to keep watch from the rooftops, as was his duty from this point. Once he had been signaled by Mondo with his conch shell from below, Jizo was to burn the fortress from the top down, allowing the disciples time to escape from the roof without getting trapped within the blaze. Mondo also kept watch from outside the fortress, ready to give signals to the others, which was his role. Furinaku, who, for personal reason, chose to take the front line. The 7 disciples stole their way into the first floor of the No-Zimi fort. The interior was of colossal proportions, yet from outside the castle itself could not possibly contain such a huge space, yet still they found themselves in a foreign realm of giants. The castle's interior was a realm within its own right, summoned forth by ancient No-Zimi magic that could not be rationalized with normal logical understanding. The disciples stood within a large rectangular empty space with large shoji screens that led to the next section of the fortress complex. A hallway could be seen, as revealed by Kensuke's secret map. The disciples' attention was soon drawn to the unexpected appearance of Jinkuro the owl, who appeared from behind a puff of thick black smoke.
So, the covenant of stealth still lives. Heroes pups have sniffed us out. I see your sensei left you to do his dirty work again, along with that treacherous Hokuraya, so recklessly throwing away the lives of his disciples.
Jinkuro yelled. "Shut up," said Furinaku angrily, and before Korea could let loose her fury yelled, "You are a disgrace. You have no honor, therefore, you have no life."
You.
Jinkuro replied.
What are you supposed to be? Some kind of hero or something, showing up all over the place interfering with my plans? You are beginning to become quite troublesome for me.
Most of your agents are all dead. No-Zimi's reign of terror ends this night. I will slay you as I did Ryujo. Furinaku firmly assured.
Ryujo was weak.
Jinkuro replied, nonplussed by Furinaku's words. And Seiryu? What of him? Asked Furinaku.
He serves his purpose better than most, a means to an end, and you have interrupted my plans for the last time. I do not know how you managed to steal into this fortress without my knowing, and by this I am very displeased.
Do I look like someone who gives a flying rat's asshole about whether you are pleased or not? Replied Furinaku. We have come to vanquish the demon that you are, so that this evil may be put to rest. Jinkuro the owl laughed.
Well, well then. High hopes as usual, I see. Since you have made it this far, I imagine you have already released the children. Those children were extremely valuable assets, and for this you must pay the ultimate price.
What?
How dare you? Kariya shouted. You dirty, rotten, immoral scumbag. You do not even have the right to be displeased. Furanaku added as his amber wolf eyes glowed, his blood boiling at the nerve of Jinkuro, who would dare speak such immoral words in the presence of the Covenant of Stealth. Children are no one's assets. Mikado stated with righteous anger, they are the future, an opportunity for a better tomorrow.
The future, yes, a future governed by the laws of no Zimi.
Jinkuro stated firmly. That can never be. Furanaku confidently replied as he cut in.
Oh, but it is what it is, Furanaku Higashi.
Jinkuro arrogantly replied.
Yes, I know who you are.
So we are on a name basis now.
Your father Naza Higashi sends his regards from Rome.
What do you mean? My father is dead. How dare you speak his name?
I assure you that he is very much alive. Your father is Bakurio, the Black Dragon.
Lies. This cannot be. I will refuse to believe it.
Ha ha ha. I believe you have met. Think back, Furanaku.
In that moment, Furanaku had a flashback of the mysterious stranger he met back on the Black Raven during his journey into Ryukyu with RYUJI.
Join us and your father, and together we can rule this world. Be reunited with your old friend Seiryu and your father once more. Become the new Shiryu, White Dragon. What do you say, Furanaku, son of Naza Higashi, the Black Dragon?
How would you like me to shove this saya up your asshole? Furanaku firmly said as he took out his sword from his obi. Still sheathed, he pointed it towards Jinkuro. There is no opportunity for evil. Careful, Furanaku-san, perhaps he would enjoy it too much, Kariya mockingly said. Try my blade. Grasping her katana firmly, she held it in the direction towards Jinkuro the owl. Kariya's eyes were fixed on his, fiercely gazing into his demonic yellow eyes that even he too was shaken by her soul of fire.
Ahem, yes, amusing.
Jinkuro attempted to evade any signs of fear.
I shall await you at the top of the rooftop should you manage to defeat my agents and Seiryu. That is, if you succeed in surviving the dangers that await you should you choose to move ahead.
Prepare to die, fool. Tatsume cut in.
Ahem, the monkey-man savage speaks. Such righteous overconfidence never ceases to amuse me, yet the greatest challenge of your lives awaits you yet.
Jinkuro said, turning his gaze away, pointing to the room ahead. With Jinkuro's attention focused away from the clansman, seizing the moment, Tatsume threw his monkey staff across the hall, hurling it in the direction towards Jinkuro, yet the staff struck a void, for Jinkuro the owl had disappeared before the staff could make contact as it fell to the floor with a clang.
Good luck.
The mocking voice of Jinkuro spoke, filling the silence of the now empty space, and he let loose a loud mocking laugh. Damn you piece of shit! Tatsume exclaimed. Fakira. Furanaku was frustrated that his brother had missed the mark, and Kariya placed her soothing hand on Furanaku's shoulder to comfort him. The no Zimi will end tonight. Yes. Furanaku agreed, taking Kariya's porcelain hand in his own. In this, my sister, we must succeed.
Yes!
I cannot wait to kill that son of a bitch Seiryu, Kariya expressed as she placed her other hand on his. That alone is enough for me to know I must win. Letting go of Furanaku's warm hand, she drew her katana, and the others followed after her example. Kariya is right. Furinaku stated to the disciples, his katana held high above his head pointing to the heavens. There is no point in keeping our swords sheathed. From now on we are engaged in battle with an enemy who has no conscience. An enemy we cannot see, Lady Mizuki stated. I will work from the shadows, friends. Lady Mizuki faded from the spot within the empty space where the disciples stood, and began her work to track down hidden enemies and guide her clansmen from that place that cannot be seen. I will work together with my brother, Mikado, Korea, and Yukishi on the front where my skills will be of best use. No trepidation, Mikado said, raising his fingers to his head, and the others followed with the same gesture. No trepidation.
Chapter 32, Seiryu.
The swordsman whose mind is fixed on self-preservation shall surely lose to the swordsman whose mind simply is. Obi-Ichi.
They explored the fortress which led to a hidden entrance shown on Kensuke's secret map. There Seiryu stood, waiting. Kunoichi in light blue and black checkered clothing fought in his place, moving in and out of doors as he watched from his pedestal. Attentive, he observed with his dark deep blue eyes from behind a silver dragon mask. They came in for the kill from behind hidden doors, but they were killed, cut down by the covenant of stealth. Blood splatter could be seen all over the sliding screens and tatami floor. Now Seiryu was forced to face his old clansmen, which he was hoping to avoid at all costs. Deep down inside, he knew he still cared for some of them and could not allow for this to resurface. He simply wanted power, and it was not personal to him. Seiryu moved a lever by his throne, and in an instant a trapdoor opened from below the spot where Lady Mizuki stood, and she found herself hanging from a cliff over the water. Hanging by her Kajinawa rope hook, with one hand she formed a mudra and uttered the spell for dolphin. Lady Mizuki swam around the moat to meet with Mondo and Jeizo and find out what happened to Yukishi. Since her time within the fortress was ended, she would scan the waters for enemy ships and resume duty outside with the others. As Tatsume cautiously approached Seiryu, a sudden rumble beneath his feet caught him off guard. Before he could react, a trapdoor swung open, and he plummeted down into the dark cellars below. The impact knocked him unconscious, leaving him in a daze. Moments later, Tatsume regained consciousness and shook off the disorientation. Fists clenched, he struck his chest, willing his strength to return. Determined to escape this predicament, he inspected his surroundings. The cell's iron bars seemed like an impossible obstacle, but he wasn't going to let that stop him. Squeezing his hands around the cell bars, Tatsume took a deep breath, and upon the outward breath he bent the bars with his stone ape strength and squeezed through into the passageway. He ran toward the outside of the castle to meet with the others. The disciples realized that the floor in this room was filled with trapdoors on the floor as well as the hidden doors in the walls. Using the hidden doors to confuse, Seiryu attempted to lead the disciples into more, even deadlier traps. By this time dozens of no-Zemi reinforcement ships were on fire seen from the fortress above, as Lady Mizuki was busy, and before long a large ship arrived unexpectedly to all sides, revealed to be the Fuma Ryukainen wearing raw wooden Hanya masks. Catching news of the no-Zemi, they said to Lady Mizuki that they were after the head of Seiryu, and they offered to part without conflict if they would allow them to join in with the hunt to kill Seiryu, or bring back his body. At this time any allies were welcome, even if it was only for this one night. Kami forbid if the covenant should fail, then this would increase the chances of defeating no-Zemi. At last, they've come for me, Seiryu said as he peered out the window at the ships below from above. Looks like everyone is here for you now, said Mikado. Oh yeah, Seiryu said, his eyes opening wide. He pointed his blade to Mikado. Let them come, the more the better, they always come, don't they? They always keep on coming, and yet still, They pray for death like willing sacrifices. But you're too stubborn to lay down and die. You'd rather kill yourself. Ha 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 ha. You sick bastard. I've been wanting to get you back for a really long time after putting up with all your shit for so long. And to think I cried over your supposed death, Mikado said, looking helpless as he held his aching bloody bandaged left arm. Stealthily sliding his right hand down his kimono to reach for his iron Tessin hand fan. Wasting no time, Mikado used a straightforward underarm throw, letting loose his Tessin so fast it curved around, slightly cutting Seiryu's mask band from behind his ear. The mask fell to the floor, breaking into two pieces. Seiryu had interpreted it as a bad omen, representing his two sides breaking apart. Was he still torn between Seiryu and RYUJI? Seiryu did not see it coming because he had underestimated Mikado based on his usual timidness. Excellent, Mikado, Furinaku said. You'll pay for that, flower boy, Seiryu said. Stand down, Mikado, Furinaku cut in. It is time we finish our match now, RYUJI-san, don't you think so? RYUJI is no more. I'm Seiryu. Indeed, I no longer know who you are. For that and all the evil you have manifested, I am truly grieved beyond words. Everyone stay back, Furinaku commanded, and Seiryu said nothing, standing still with barely a spark of life left in his eyes. He formed the mantra for dragon and uttered a mantra under his mask and roared. Seiryu took the semblance of a blue dragon. The pupils of his eyes became slits and he poked out his forked tongue. A tail whipped out from beneath his haori. Furinaku placed his hands together, forming a magical seal. He howled loudly and sealed the deal, his wolf eyes glowing amber, ever ready. Raising his left hand to his mouth, Mikado uttered a mantra. White feathered crane wings spread from Mikado's back. Korea followed. Her hands together she chanted a spell. Her cat eyes glowed green as she took on the form of a black panther. Her fingernails became claws and she flicked her tail in readiness. At the end, only Furinaku, Mikado, and Korea remained to face Seiryu. With his naginata, Seiryu lunged for Furinaku, who shifted out of the way of his thrust with great speed. Seiryu swung to the side where Furinaku had evaded, aiming for his neck but missed. Seiryu puffed his cheeks and breathed out blue fire in the direction of Furinaku. Raising his sword tier into a guarded position in front of his face, Furinaku ducked low. Then Seiryu swept his tail low for Furinaku's legs. Furinaku jumped and lowered his katana down to cut Seiryu's head, splitting him in half from head to torso. A puff of blue smoke was released, leaving behind a wooden dummy of Seiryu. Bastard, Furinaku said, a puppet trick. Appearing from behind another door that swung open, Seiryu lunged for Mikado, who deflected the halberd downward with a parry. He flew up, attempting to snatch the naginata away from Seiryu, holding it stubbornly under his injured arm. The blue dragon tried to pull it back from the stubborn grip of Mikado Shiranui. Let go now, sake guzzling scum, Seiryu threatened. Fakira, you asshole, Mikado replied. Seeing that his arm was giving way, Seiryu pulled the naginata towards him once again. Mikado let go of the naginata and flew upward. Seiryu was vulnerable for a moment. A black panther ran in for the kill from behind Seiryu, her claws around his neck. Korea tightened her grip, but Seiryu tensed his neck. Grabbing hold of the back of the wrists, he pulled and flung her over himself. She flipped over him, landing on her feet, repositioning herself, and waved her tail in anticipation. Attempting to get away, he pulled a chain that acted as a lever hanging above him, opening a section of the wall with a blue dragon on it behind his throne. He ran up onto the platform and stood between the door. I faked my death because you became too much of a distraction for me, and I needed you to kill the disciples for me, a means to an end, but my feelings for you became too strong, and in order to succeed I had to appear dead.
Oh.
By sending you up north, I could keep you as far away from my ongoings in Awaji so that you'd remain ignorant of my presence here in this fortress. Did you ever really love me? Korea asked. Love is nothing but moments of squishing sounds.
What?
Seiryu disappeared behind the hidden door. Seeing Seiryu running outside onto the castle wall, Mondo blew the horn, the sound reverberating the entire area and lakeside like it was the end of the world. He took on the likeness of a brown bear and pursued Seiryu until he caught up with him on the bridge. Jizo was forced to light the fortress on fire prematurely. The disciples followed after him through the door, down the stairway to the top of the wall on the outside. Without hesitation, Korea was first to enter the hidden stairway behind the wall of the Blue Dragon, guessing it led outside to the castle wall, where they would have a better chance of battling with Seiryu to the death away from his toys. Creeping steadily towards the Blue Dragon in the darkness, Mondo, the bear Masamune, raised himself up behind Seiryu. Sensing danger, Seiryu turned himself around, whipping his tail toward the grisly assault that now threatened his life. Mondo lost balance, falling over. He rolled and lifted himself back up onto his feet and roared, charging for Seiryu. With his tail upward, Seiryu leapt high over the top of Mondo to the other side behind him. Mondo turned himself around and charged again for the Blue Dragon. Taking a few steps backwards, Seiryu tripped over his own tail. The brown bear pounced on top of him and locked jaws with Seiryu's tail, causing him to lose his draconian form. With blood trickling down from behind his backside, Seiryu let off a series of blue-colored smoke bombs to cover his retreat, for Mondo had finally proven to be the greater predator. Sniffing the bloody trail of the Blue Dragon, the brown bear followed in the direction of the scent of blood. Emerging from the darkness like a spectral guardian, King Hiro Musashi appeared on the night-shrouded rooftop, his Garuda wings spread out wide, cutting through the midnight air. His hair colored with a special blue dye, a mark of his otherworldly prowess. Robed in the most holy white and red garments and armor, his face painted ghost white with blood-red warrior paint in the kabuki style, complementing the live-licking flames gradually consuming the roof of the castle. So, you came, Hiro Musashi. White owl wings opened out from Jinkuro's back. I have. So, you care about your pups after all, I see. More than an abomination like you may ever hope to understand. I shall have justice. Your reign of terror ends here, now, and you shall die here, tonight. King Hiro wanted the disciples to believe in themselves, however he knew that Jinkuro was most likely playing with them since he was a formidable foe and King Hiro could not risk losing his disciples after already losing his family. Without any further words or gestures, they joined together in a heated clash of swords and sorcery above the flames of the collapsing rooftop. Time was running out. Together, the disciples bravely faced their runaway brother on the wall below their sensei, flames burning high around them. Surrounded by blackened smoke and heat waves, their vision was slightly impaired, as pieces of the castle fell apart from the flames and down onto the ground and moat below, alarm bells ringing. Yukishi slithered in the form of a snake unnoticed by use of her henshin as Jizo the bat ninja watched from the sky by use of his henshin, his bat wings flapping in the wind, while Lady Mizuki, by use of her henshin in the form of a dolphin, kept watch from within the water for any remaining Jesuits and servants of Hanya. Mondo, the bear Masamune, tactfully led Yukishi to the scene just in time to face their fallen brother on the wall where they would end his life, no matter what the cost. From the wall below, hungry for justice, Mondo, who was now in human form, drew back his Ainu gold-tipped fire arrow aiming towards Seiryu, and waited. Yukishi went in for her hidden attack from the shadows of the flames, a place between cold and hot. Missed the bastard. Yukishi's attempt to slash Seiryu across the waist from a low-down position had failed by a hair's thickness, The robes of Seiryu had been cut, and the cold sting of her Kamiyari, Yuki no Hi, had only managed to graze his flesh. It was painful yet to no fatal degree. Winded from the shock, Seiryu disappeared into safety away from Yukishi's sight. Reappearing instantly from behind a blazing fire, Seiryu slashed Yukishi across the right shoulder, deeply wounding her. Yukishi placed her left hand to her arm and repositioned herself further away, ready. In that moment, Mondo released his fire arrow that burst into an oily dragon fire surrounding Seiryu, together with Furinaku trapped within a wall of flame. Furinaku was in Waki no Kami wave stance with his spear low and to the side with the pommel facing forward, and Seiryu was in Daijouden no Kami with his halberd held high above his head. They looked at each other sharply in the eyes, knowing this was it. Death would come this night. Can you smell the death in the air tonight, my friend? The burned handprint on Seiryu's chest began to cause him seething pain. Even now, Takuma was helping from the beyond world. He had marked the demon with a curse that lived on after his death. The only death I can smell is approaching you right now like a promptly impending doom. Furinaku replied. The winds howled fiercely atop the towering castle walls as Seiryu and Furinaku faced off in an epic and relentless battle. The clash of their weapons echoed through the night, each strike a testament to their incredible skill and determination. The stark contrast between the two combatants only served to intensify the magnitude of their clash. With a thunderous roar, Seiryu lunged forward, his naginata cutting through the air with deadly precision. Furinaku, relying on his impeccable reflexes, swiftly sidestepped, narrowly avoiding the lethal strike. Undeterred, he retaliated, thrusting his yari towards Seiryu's exposed flank, but Seiryu effortlessly parried the blow, his naginata dancing with a grace that belied its deadly purpose. As the battle raged on, each warrior unveiled techniques hitherto unseen. Seiryu employed a whirlwind technique, spinning his naginata above his head in a terrifying vortex of death. Furinaku, not to be outdone, countered with a deflection technique, using precise movements to redirect Seiryu's onslaught. These two formidable foes seemed evenly matched, each one pushing the limits of their own skill and endurance. The battle continued for what felt like an eternity, neither combatant gaining the upper hand. In a desperate attempt to gain an advantage, Seiryu initiated a powerful downward swing, aiming to sever Furinaku's head from his shoulders. With unyielding resolve, Furinaku positioned himself expertly, ready to block the incoming strike. Gripping his yari firmly with both hands, he braced himself for the impact. The force of Seiryu's naginata collided with Furinaku's yari with a clash. However, Furinaku's yari, already weakened by the relentless battles fought within the fortress, succumbed to Seiryu's formidable strength. The weapon shattered at one of the joins, leaving Furinaku momentarily defenseless. Thinking quickly, Furinaku hopped backward, his damaged yari held high in his right hand, poised like a javelin. With lightning speed, he flung the broken weapon towards Seiryu, aiming to catch his adversary off guard, yet fate had different plans, and the yari veered off course, plummeting down from the wall. Both combatants paused, catching their breath, aware of the gravity of the situation. The wall of fire subsided as they locked eyes, each assessing the other's next move. A moment of silence seemed to stretch into eternity. Master Garuda was right after all, Seiryu said. The naginata is truly the more superior weapon than the yari. Seiryu gave off a bellowing laugh that echoed loudly down the castle walls of the dreaded Blood Moon Night. It was over. Blood began bleeding from out of Seiryu's back, a knife stuck out of it. He turned around to behold a navy blue-cladded figure, red lining on the lapels of the kimono revealed her to be female. An orange mempo covering her mouth, she stood there, silent and watching. From out of nowhere, the shadowy blue figure had climbed the wall behind him, outsmarting him while he was distracted by his worst enemy, his ego. Asahi. You. Damn Fuma bitch, you got me good this time. Seiryu stood there, leaning forward in pain. He knew there was only one thing left to do now. He lowered himself to a kneeling position, carefully putting down his naginata. No. Furanaku was furious because he did not get to be the one to kill Seiryu. Furanaku, I believe the honor is all yours. Asahi backed away. Knowing this was personal for Furanaku, she could not deny him the honor. Since Furanaku had embraced her within his grasp during the journey to Ryukyu Islands, she could not stop thinking about him. Or maybe it was there from the beginning when she first encountered the beautiful stray dog in the forsaken boneyard. Asahi lowered her head to the beautiful stranger, waiting for the young samurai to perform his duty. Furanaku bowed to Asahi in return. Furanaku walked over to his old comrade, now helpless before him, bleeding and moaning. Seiryu looked up at Furanaku, nodding his head. He gave him his blessing as his life was fading before him. We had a deal, remember, should the moment ever come, you would be my beheader. Seiryu reminded him. Saying no words, Furanaku bowed to his old brother, now fallen and pathetic. This was the only honorable act that was possible for him now as death closed in upon the blue dragon. Pulling out his sword Kai, he held it with one hand on the blade to compensate for its length, and lunged it into his belly, tearing it sharply across. Then turning the blade upward, he desperately held in his natural reaction to cry out in agony, completing the angled cut. After bowing to his old brother, Furanaku raised tear over his head to a resting position on his shoulder, then he brought her down, slicing the head of the blue dragon clean off. After performing Chiburi by flicking the blood from his blade onto the ground, he wiped the blade with a cloth from within his kimono and performed Nodo, resheathing, then bowing in respect.
The covenant of stealth.
RYUJI burst into flame as the demon Seiryu left his body, screaming on his way to the deepest, darkest depths of the cold, damp caves of hell, far from the fires of Kohiki. Burning, roasting, the body of the last of the 5 dragons fell to the floor, smoking. Furanaku pulled out Kai from his body to be later handed over to King Hiro as evidence, and removed its slightly burnt saya sheath from within the obi and sheathed Kai back into it. Placing RYUJI's head into a white cloth, he tied it with a string and secured it to his waist as they watched his body burn until it was char-grilled, the winds blowing away the ashes into the darkness of the night. It was a good death, far better than he really deserved. Having nowhere left to go since Furanaku and RYUJI killed Junai on the burning Black Raven, Asahi decided to work as a rogue in search of General Takeda Shingen's hidden fortune in gold and invited the Covenant to help locate it should fortune permit. Should fortune not permit such an alliance, then no one would interfere, and with it she promised the disciples no trouble and to part peacefully, placing harmony between the Fuma Kanon and the Covenant of Stealth now that Seiryu was dealt with. Sensei. Korea was first to notice King Hiro with his wings above the burning roof, battling Jinkuro the owl in the air. The lunar eclipse commenced and darkness overshadowed the land. The clash of their weapons echoed through the night, as sparks flew in all directions. Placing his hands together, Jinkuro uttered a dark mantra, summoning forth a legion of lesser demons from Ashura realm that began encircling the air around them. The sound of howling and gnashing of teeth could be heard as they hovered in the form of apparitions above the castle. King Hiro raised his Oborozuki Akari sword above his head. "Ikazuchi!" he shouted. An intense bolt of lightning was summoned forth from the sky surrounding King Hiro in a shield of electrical energy. The air itself seemed to tremble with anticipation as the king's resolve melded with the electrifying force. The swirling demons sensed the king's power, their ethereal forms flickering uneasily. King Hiro surged forward, his every movement attuned to the arcing lightning that surrounded him. The clash of steel and the thunderous roar of energy filled the air as the king engaged the legion of demons. Each strike from his sword released torrents of lightning, incinerating the demonic apparitions with blinding fury. The last remnants of the legion fell beneath his relentless attacks, fading into nothingness as if they had never existed. Breathing heavily, King Hiro stood triumphant amidst the lingering crackles of energy. Resheathing the Oborozuki behind his back, he unsheathed the twin Metazashi blades gifted to him by Lady Chidori for the purpose of slaying Jinkuro. The disciples watched as the roof began to cave in. King Hiro and Jinkuro both swooped in for the kill to finish what was started half a year ago within the grove of Oborozu. In the blink of an eye, King Hiro slashed Jinkuro across the waist with lightning speed, and Jinkuro let out a blood-curdling scream as black goo spilled out from his guts. Jinkuro fell from the roof, black goo splashing out upon impact by the feet of Tatsume. As the lunar eclipse ended and light returned to the land, King Hiro soon landed by the side of Tatsume in the form of a winged Garuda appearing from out of the darkness. It was Tatsume the monkey-man savage who was first to be graced on this mission by the unexpected presence of the Master of the Shadows. Sensei. Tatsume bowed low. I thought you were back home. Home? And where exactly is home? We have no home. For is not home where the heart is. King Hiro returned to human form. It is an honor to serve by your side, Tsukakage. The honor is all mine, Tatsume-san. Call the others to me. We must leave at once while time is on our side. Hi, Sensei. The stage was now cleared for the disciples to escape back out to sea, for the way had been cleared for them. Surprised by the sight of their sensei and eager to know what transpired, Jeizo and Lady Mizuki joined the Tsukakage and the others on their way back to the mainland where he was filled in with the details. They met with Kensuke who awaited their arrival on the other side of the water, and left to meet with Lady Chidori, Narutaki, and Kongo who awaited them.
Chapter 33. The Final Struggle.
Evil moves fast, yet good moves faster than light. Obi-Ichi.
It was the time where the Covenant of Stealth had no more use or power to make things right. It was that year that the Covenant of Stealth were to disappear into the shadows of history forever, unless one day history took another turn. Hiro, along with his 12 Covenants, had rowed out to meet Hansa at the other side before sundown to follow through with the plan. When they met with each other in the fields, they dismounted from their horses to rest. It was at this time after whereby Hiro and Sansa, along with the disciples, had partaken of soup and gold, that Hiro gave his last sermon within the lush green mountains of Ichizan. They gathered in a circle in a large open valley by a beautiful blue stream. Robed in an azure blue kimono, Sansa was by Hiro's side, and with him overlooking the disciples who eagerly awaited the words of illumination. Brothers and sisters, thank you everyone, thank you one and all for everything you have done and all of the energy work you have done making this dream of illumination come true in the fullest sense of the true definition. From our perspective, this work of telling you what the world looks like from our perspective has been the most important work we could have possibly achieved here in this universal infinite now, and so we the Obi-Ichi, as we move forward, and more of us are aware of the true nature of reality as time itself unfolds, and we see the future we have built using the symbol, using the telepathic connection, using the Enso connection, and the application of that same universal energy Obi-Ichi, and soon we shall look back on this moment and smile, and 1,000 years from this moment humans shall remember the Obi-Ichi connection, and they shall remember this moment, as this moment is ancient history, and the full evolution of Oborozuki energy shall be archived by the cosmic order of operations, and the future of this story told shall echo in the heart and mind of all who recognize the dream come true, and so in this moment we thank you. We thank you for everything. We thank you for the wish come true and everything within you, good intentions and validation energy of this Shindo potential, as we see the energy evolve and we see Obi-Ichi evolve as a defined concept, and all the listening ears of all living on earth remember this connection and see with open eyes and open hearts the potential of this memory forgotten and then resurfaced, and the potential forever after that connection, that universal infinite connection, as our work is done, and we see humans in all nations listen to the connection and see the beauty of this energy evolve in the heart of all potential. Thank you for the work you have done, and we are waiting to see what shall become of this energy as we see the evolution of the Enso and the free and open concept of the totality of the definition here and now, as the moment is yet to come. Year after year we are here, and we have told you everything you have needed to know, and we have made you aware with our fullest efforts, and we have served you in our fullest capability the information that is needed to take things to the next level, and our work as Covenors is reflected in the victory of the light of the connection, the totality of the memory come to be reflected in the waters of our fathers and mothers and our sons and daughters who shall inherit this moment and discover our library of ideas in the archives, the library of the connection, Enso, the circle and the one, for the one is the all and the all is the one. Hiro told Sansa that if he did not appear before dawn, then Sansa was to go on alone. Greeted by the rising sun, and surrounded by crystal clear morning dew drops on blades of grass where they lay, the disciples awoke half naked amongst a field in a lush valley by a beautiful blue stream graced with lilies and dragonflies, and a white crane splashed down into the water that sparkled like gold dust from the sun's morning rays. As they heard the sound of neighing, they looked around to find their steeds loose and gallivanting free nearby in the distance, drinking from the lake and chewing on the grass of the fields and berries on bushes in the valley. As they looked around the green valley where they awoke, they could see Kato, who was still sleeping, carefully snuggled down on thick moss by a thick large oak tree covered in what seemed to be the most beautiful orange leaves. What is this? Sansa wondered. What kind of bizarre circumstance happened upon us only to pass upon us unaware? Kato! Exclaimed Furinaku with excitement. He must have picked up the scent and followed the trail where he discovered us here, Sansa said. He watched over us, Furinaku firmly believed. As Sansa and the disciples drew nearer to the tree, they came to a sudden halt. The leaves of the tree began to move, accompanied by the sound of overwhelming fluttering as a burst of orange butterflies took off into the sky. The true leaves of the tree were revealed, showing the last moments of autumn, now ready to receive winter. Bewildered and uncomfortably laughing, the disciples desperately tried to remember exactly what had occurred that early auspicious morning, but all was a blur. A purple haze. A long paper parchment loosely bound by a red silken cord fell from the tree, unraveling itself as if to be purposely carried by the kami of the wind, whereby it descended gradually until it, along with the red silken cord, lay to rest at the feet of the disciples. Note: this shall be our final message to you of the decade. First, we would like to say that it has been an honor fighting alongside you, and we shall carry with us your energy wherever we go from this point forward. We have shared these moments with one another, listening and learning with each other, and we have built so much, and we look forward with hopeful eyes, eager to see the realization of this universal energy as this next span of 10 years starts here. We would like to say thank you for all the truth you have told, thank you for all the energy work you have accomplished and shall continue to accomplish as Shinobi Bushi. The most important thing that shall happen in the next 10 years shall involve the Obi-Ichi, as the Obi-Ichi is the most important tool in the world right now, and the circle and the one itself is set up to evolve into something that many might think as unrecognizable from its current form. We send you good luck. We send you good intentions. We hope that your dreams come true. We hope that you realize the power that you are. We hope that everyone on Earth recognizes the potential of real-time reality creation. We thank you for every single immortalized act of kindness, every good intention, and all positive energy. We shall see you in the higher level realms, and we look forward to seeing humanity evolve, and we look forward to seeing humanity fully attentive to the power that is available in this moment. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the dreams. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you for being here for me when I needed you most, and thank you, my friend, and we shall always be your friend. We shall always be your friend, helping you from the shadows. We shall always be your light in the dark when you need us most. The essence of Shinobi is based on a pure mind in order to protect humanity and to uphold justice in respect to natural law and the original light of illumination. Never work for personal gain. Never do anything wrong. This is the golden path of the Shinobi. We shall always be your shade from the light when you are blinded and you need to rest from the overexposure of seeing the totality of the truth as it is exposed to us in the years of our recognition, and so here we move forward, and here we see the fullest realization as we use these amazing tools that we have been gifted by Shindo in the fullest sense of our freedom and our respect for you and this family we have created together through this covenant. Arigato gozaimashita. 01. Hearing a loud neigh, the disciples looked over the yellow morning horizon. There she was. Tara lifted herself up on two legs high atop on a mountain of berries nearby, only to disappear before their eyes like she was never there, or perhaps she had finally become a kami. Or was she always so from the beginning? Who can truly know? They traveled onward towards their destined places, although their hearts were heavy, for Lord Musashi was gone, even though Furanaku would forever remain the secret inheritor of the Enso, come to be defined as Obi-Ichi the Circle, and the one under the covenant of stealth, sealed with his very blood, witnessed by none other than the all-seeing gaze of the goddess Marishiten and her disciple. The great serpent master of the shadows himself, Hiro Musashi Oborozuki Ryu Shinobi, known also by the outside world as Kuno Garuda, and many other names now faded, blended and hidden within the shadows of Japan's feudal past. From out of nowhere, Sansa struck a large Buddhist staff onto the ground that immediately caught the undivided attention of all the disciples. There is something I must tell all of you about your sensei. The disciples stood quietly, eagerly awaiting the words of their new master, for he knew their hearts were heavy concerning their sensei, Hiro Musashi. In his seclusion he wrote a book during the 3 days of the full moon called Oborozuki no Sho. The Oborozuki no Sho states that he was eventually taken by the darkness, a darkness that dwelt with him from the day of Kasurei's visitation. For Kasurei was revealed to be a demon posing as an angel, a demon who did not wish to be a demon. The mark of the Sagamis was actually the mark of Kasurei, and came with a curse. Hanyo himself had a feud with Kasurei, as the Void League of Sagami sorcerers worshipped Kasurei. He sought to have their souls for himself, for their prayers were pleasing unto him. Hanyo made a deal long ago with the demon Kasurei, that if Kasurei gathered the souls of the musicians for him, he would allow Kasurei the privilege to have the others for himself. Kasurei had other plans. He visited my lordship Musashi Hiro, and said he would deliver his soul to Hanyo, but in turn he kept him as his own puppet, and told Hanyo otherwise, thus secretly breaking the demonic agreement. As it was revealed to him, Musashi Hiro gave his soul to Kasurei to save his disciples. In turn the curse was lifted from our clan, but my lordship Hiro Musashi remained cursed and would not be allowed to reincarnate or ascend.